this is Dr. Yousaf. Today I'm going to talk about functions of mass communication. Nothing has influenced the lives of modern men as the mass media has. Mass media are the powerful means that do not only influence today's world, but they also shape the globe of tomorrow. There are many functions of mass communication, but today I'm going to talk about the functions of mass communication proposed by two scholars. Laswell in 1927 identified three functions of mass communication, and Wright in 1974 added the fourth function. So in today's talk, I'm going to explain these four functions of mass communication. The first function of mass communication is surveillance. Surveillance means observation. Let me give an example what observation means. Whenever you go to some place where cameras are watching you, you have observed that it's written that smile, you are under the eyes of camera. This is surveillance. Similarly, mass media watch the society closely and continuously. This function of mass media to observe the society closely and continuously to inform as well as warn the audience is called surveillance function of mass media. We can divide the surveillance function of mass media into further two kinds. One of them is instrumental surveillance. So what does instrumental surveillance means? The transmission of information that is useful and helpful in everyday life of the individuals is called instrumental surveillance. So let me give some of the examples about instrumental surveillance. We get a lot of news from news media about the films which are coming and which will be presented in the local theaters. This is one of the functions of instrumental surveillance. Similarly, the stock market prices, new products, new recipes, new fashion ideas, all are the examples of instrumental surveillance where the role of the media is to inform the public about the forthcoming ideas, dramas, movies and other ideas. The other function, which is the second function of surveillance, we called it beware surveillance or warning surveillance. So how this beware or warning surveillance is different from instrumental surveillance? The warning or beware surveillance occurs when the media inform and warn the public about the forthcoming threats and similar situations. For example, hurricanes, erupting volcanoes, depression or depressed economic conditions, military attacks of one country on another country, or terrorism activities. All these are termed as warning or beware surveillance. So in this kind of surveillance, media warn us, and if we look at the contemporary conditions, the information which media disseminate about coronavirus is both instrumental as well as surveillance. If media tell us to wear mask, keep distance from the other people when we go out from our houses, this kind of surveillance is beware surveillance. Likewise, drug abuse, crimes which are increasing in certain societies, if media inform us about these kind of issues or events, we term them as warning surveillance. So this is the first function. Now we talk about the second function of mass communication, that is correlation of different parts of society. The surveillance function of mass media is useless until we process, interpret and correlate the information which we get from the mass media as a result of surveillance with already knowledge we have. So what does it mean? It means the knowledge which we get from the media as a result of surveillance need to be processed, need to be interpreted and need to be correlated with the already knowledge which we have about the world around us. This function relates to how the media selection of certain events, issues and their interpretation explains and tell the public how to understand those events and issues. This holds the different segments of the society together and brings consensus and harmony in a society. What does it mean? It means when media interpret the events and issues, and when most of the people have a consensus or agreement on those interpretations, then most of the people are brought together and they have consensus. This leads towards harmony in a society. Let me give an example. The media reports about different cultures. This helps us to understand those cultures and correlate those cultures with our own culture. Similarly, in the context of Pakistani society, we have different ethnic groups like Punjabi, Sindhi, Pakhtun. When media report about those groups and interpret the information about those groups, this helps us to understand the values, the culture and norms of those groups. This way, media bring consensus among the population of a particular country on those groups, their values, their culture. So this function as a whole is called correlation function of a mass communication. From this function, mass communication create harmony in a society, harmony about the values, ideas, culture and all other aspects. Similarly, people's attitude about political issues, events, public policy and even about the politicians are developed by the mass media, because people in the contemporary age are exposed to the messages given by the mass media. So mass media shape our attitudes, our behaviors and our opinions about issues, groups, politicians and societies and culture as a whole. So as a whole, this function is termed as correlation function of mass communication. Now let's move to the third function of mass communication. The third function of mass communication is cultural transmission function of mass media. So what does this mean? This means the ability of media to teach various norms, rules and values about different cultures and pass these values from one generation to another generation. How this happens, let me explain this with some examples. In the past, this role was played by the parents and grandparents. They used to tell stories to their children and their kids what was the culture in the past and how they can learn about their past and their grandparents and their values. But in the contemporary age, media have assumed this role of storytelling which once was assumed by the parents and grandparents. So how this takes place? Every day we watch television dramas and movies. Those television dramas tell us the stories about our past, about our culture, about different values, norms and ethics which were very common in the past. And in this way, media pass those values from the past generation to the present generation. Let's give the example of television. Television programs by large reflect the society in which they are broadcast and promote the understanding of a society's cultural heritage. Let me give you one more specific example. Children's television programs are designed to showcase good behavior and moral standards which children can learn by watching those programs. Another example, television political talk shows help people to understand the political culture and the contemporary issues in a society. Similarly, you are familiar with the programs which had been broadcast on television like Sarate Mustaqim, The Right Path. The purpose of this program was to teach Holy Quran to the children. Similarly, Defense Day celebrations let us know about our armed forces and their role in our past in defending the sacred land of Pakistan. Similarly, religious festivals, cultural festivals help us to understand our culture as well as religion from the past perspective. And this all function is termed as cultural transmission. This function holds the society together and let the people know their past and correlate their past with their present. In this way, media helps to transmit the culture from one generation to another generation. Now let's move to the last and the fourth function of mass communication. The last and the fourth function added by Wright in 1974 is called entertainment function of mass communication. This popular function of mass media refers to the ability of the media to help people relax and create a means of escape from daily routines of life. I mean, what does it mean? Let me explain it this way, because when you people are working in your offices, you are either students, either you are professionals. I mean, whatever you are doing in whatever capacity, people become tired with their routines. When they want to escape from their routine, they utilize this mass media function, which we call entertainment function. So entertainment function of mass media provides people relaxation, entertainment. It entertains them, it gives them an opportunity to enjoy themselves with the music, with the dramas, with the movies of their own choice. This function, what we call entertainment function, however, has both positive as well as negative aspects. So let's first talk about the positive effects of that. I mean, television offers you people an opportunity to enjoy the content, to enjoy the music, to enjoy the dramas, to enjoy the movies, whatever you like. This function we call as positive function of entertainment. However, the low quality of the content, which is usually presented in television talk shows or dramas or movies, is sometimes criticized for developing low standard as well as harming culture and moral values of the individuals in a particular society. Let me give some more examples. I mean, how you get these entertainment functions. You can watch the Oscar winning awards ceremony on television. This provides you an entertainment as well as information. Similarly, Independence Day rallies also help you to get these kind of functions. Maybe the most of you don't have an opportunity to directly or live watch the Olympic Games, but media brings the Olympic Games at your own home and provide you an opportunity to relax by watching those Olympic Games. So this function of mass media, where people can relax themselves and can enjoy the content, whatever content they want to enjoy, we call it entertainment function. So what are the negative aspects of this function? One of the negative function of entertainment is that it disconnects people from their real lives. I mean, let me give an example. If you are feeling sad, you want to watch sad music. If you are feeling happy, you want to watch happy music or listen happy music. But what media does, media provide you a companion or a friend in the form of entertainment who give you a time, or you can spend your time with that. But remember, this entertainment function which media give you as a friend is not the real function. It is a function created by the mass media. So sometimes this function takes people away from the real life issues into very different world which is created by the mediated images. We called it escapism from the real life issues. So as a whole, this function is termed as entertainment function. Although there are some other functions as well, such as mobilization, validation and persuasion. But remember, all these functions are derived from four main functions. And what are those four functions of mass communication? Let me give you the summary of that. The first function is surveillance function. It can be divided into two more kinds, instrumental surveillance as well as warning surveillance. Second function is correlation. Third function is cultural transmission from one generation to another generation. And the last and the fourth function is entertainment function. So this is all from today. So if you find this video interesting, please subscribe my YouTube channel. By doing this, you can find my latest talk on research automatically.